Rain lashes the deserted town street, each drop illuminated by flashes of lightning. The dark sky cracks open, revealing a swollen river surging beyond its banks. Water reflects the chaotic light, turning the streets into shimmering, dangerous mirrors. A distant siren wails, its cry swallowed by the storm's relentless roar. The town, once familiar, is now a haunting tableau of nature's raw power. Inside the fire station, weary firefighters gather around a table, their faces lit by a bare bulb. Cards slap against the worn surface, each move heavy with unspoken tension and shared anticipation. Eyes dart to the flickering TV, a late-night movie offering a fleeting escape. The air is thick with the aroma of stale coffee, a constant companion to long, watchful nights. Outside, rain relentlessly drums against the windows, a somber symphony of nature's power. The storm outside highlights the warm, stale safety within the station's walls. The fire station's calm shatters as a pager screams to life, slicing through the air with urgency. Red alarm lights ignite, painting the room in a pulsating, urgent glow. The sudden blare instantly snaps the relaxed firefighters into high alert. Adrenaline surges as they bolt to their feet, a symphony of controlled chaos erupting. The air crackles with anticipation as each firefighter's focus sharpens. Every move is precise, honed by countless drills as they prepare to face the unknown. Sound of radio dispatch fills the air, static crackling ominously. A tense message breaks through. Engine 7, Rescue 7 vehicle in the water. Bridge Street. The dispatcher's voice crackles with urgency. Possible entrapment. Caller is a juvenile. The words hang heavy, painting a vivid scene of peril and desperation. Inside the speeding fire engine, flashing lights paint the firefighters' faces with urgency. The siren's scream cuts through the storm, an omen carried on the wind. Rain streaks the windows, blurring the chaotic world into streaks of light and shadow. Each firefighter fights to secure their gear, their expressions a study in grim resolve. Confined within the engine, they brace themselves against the storm's fury. Piercing sirens shatter the night as emergency vehicles converge, their headlights cutting through the storm. In the river's furious torrent, a partially submerged SUV struggles against the relentless current. Rain lashes down, blurring the scene of chaos and desperation. On the riverbank, a lone young boy stands drenched, his small body racked with uncontrollable sobs. His silhouette is a stark image of despair against the backdrop of flashing lights and raging waters. A car is consumed by ravenous flames, a twisted metal skeleton glowing amidst the inferno. A young boy stands silhouetted against the blaze, his small frame trembling with terror. Tears carve clean paths down his soot-streaked face, reflecting the fire's angry glow. He gestures desperately at the burning car, his voice cracking with heart-wrenching fear. "Please, my mom is still in the car," he cries, his plea swallowed by the roar of the flames. "She can't get out!" The boy's words hang in the air, a desperate echo against the backdrop of destruction. Flames devour the building, painting the sky with thick black smoke. Sirens scream as fire trucks encircle the inferno. Firefighters charge towards the burning building, their gear gleaming. The fire chief barks orders. "Let's move! Every second counts!" "Johnson, secure the perimeter!" the chief commands, his voice sharp. "Riley, prep the ropes!" he shouts, urgency etched on his face. Flames engulf the scene as firefighters arrive, their focused gazes scanning the inferno. With practiced efficiency, they move as one, a symphony of purposeful action against the backdrop of destruction. Sturdy ropes are secured to the fire engine, lifelines in the heart of chaos. Each movement is precise, a testament to their unwavering courage and dedication amidst the raging fire. Under the veil of a stormy night, heavy rain distorts the dim surroundings, turning the world into a blurry, watery expanse. The overwhelming roar of rushing water fills the air, a symphony of nature's raw and untamed power. Firefighter 1, draped in full gear, battles against the elements. Each step a struggle against the relentless downpour. The flashlight beam weakly pierces through the rain, a futile attempt to conquer the impenetrable darkness. Water's moving fast, Chief. Visibility is near zero. Firefighter 1 shouts, his words barely audible above the storm's fury. Flames dance with furious energy, consuming everything in sight as thick, acrid smoke chokes the air. Amidst the inferno, a lone fire chief stands resolute, soot-painting streaks across his weathered face. His voice cuts through the roar of the fire, a command fueled by urgency and compassion. "We go in! Now! Her son is watching," the fire chief declares, his words a beacon in the chaos. At the river's edge, Mark and David faces Grim, prepare for a water rescue, the churning river mirroring their tense anticipation. Dressed in bright yellow helmets and secure life vests, they embody readiness against the river's relentless surge. Each movement precise, they clip carabiners to safety lines, securing themselves against the powerful current. The taut lines hum with the strain, a lifeline between them and the river's unpredictable depths. Mark and David venture into the river, immediately battling the dark, swirling currents. The strong current pulls at them, a relentless force testing their resolve. Debris swirls around them, obscuring their vision as the river's power intensifies. The river's dark waters churn, a visual metaphor for the challenges they face. The wind screams as rain blurs the landscape. Debris dances in a furious ballet of destruction. Mark battles the storm, his figure a silhouette against the tempestuous sky. His voice cracks against the storm's roar as he shouts into the maelstrom. "Mom, can you hear us? We're here to help!" Mark cries, his words swallowed by the wind. The river surges, a relentless torrent of water and fury. Barely visible beneath the murky surface, an SUV rests in its watery grave. The river's roar threatens to swallow all sound. A faint, desperate tapping echoes from within the submerged SUV. Is it a plea? A warning? Sound. A faint tapping sound from the submerged SUV, barely audible above the roar of the river. An oppressive silence fills the unknown location, broken only by the echo of distant water droplets. Darkness conceals the surroundings, hinting at unseen depths and hidden dangers. A glimmer of hope sparks in the oppressive atmosphere as David strains to listen. His eyes widen, piercing the gloom with newfound determination. "I hear something!" David exclaims, his voice a fervent whisper against the silence. "She's alive!" he cries out, hope surging through him like a shockwave. Mark and David struggle against the relentless current, their movements sluggish in the face of nature's raw power. Frigid water engulfs them, each wave a chilling reminder of their desperate plight. The SUV looms in the distance, a beacon of hope amidst the aquatic chaos. Their progress is marked by sheer determination as they fight through the icy onslaught. The unforgiving water threatens to drag them under, testing their limits. Each step is a battle against the elements, their survival hanging in the balance. Mark battles against the torrential downpour, each step a victory against the water's relentless assault. He grapples with the car door handle, a desperate fight against the storm's fury. A tense moment hangs in the air as he struggles, his determination etched against the stormy backdrop. Triumph! He yanks the car door open, a small haven against the raging elements. A door splinters open, the sudden violence of its breach filling the silent space with the echo of destruction. Light floods the room as the door swings inward, casting long, distorted shadows that dance with the dust motes. Mark's silhouette appears in the doorway, framed by the harsh light, a figure of urgency and determination. "I'm coming in," Mark shouts, his voice a raw declaration cutting through the stillness, a promise of action. He steps across the threshold, his presence a stark intrusion into the unknown, ready to confront whatever awaits. Oppressive darkness fills the submerged SUV, broken only by the sound of sloshing water. Sarah struggles against her seatbelt, a cruel restraint in the suffocating water. The ghostly glow of the dashboard lights illuminates her pale face, a mask of desperation. She gasps for air, her breath escaping as fleeting bubbles dancing towards the roof. Water fills the space, obscuring details and amplifying Sarah's desperate fight. An oppressive darkness fills an unknown space, the air thick with a suffocating, unseen pressure. Ragged, desperate breaths echo in the heavy silence, the only sign of life in the void. A lone voice pierces the gloom, raw with fear and desperation. "Help me! I can't breathe!" Sarah gasps, her plea swallowed by the surrounding darkness. The unseen pressure intensifies, a silent threat closing in around the unseen figure. Dust motes swirl in a single ray of light, piercing the gloom. The air hangs heavy, thick with the cloying scent of mildew and decay. A lone figure emerges from the darkness, silhouetted against the light. Mark stands resolute, his face grim and determined. His voice echoes in the oppressive silence, a promise cutting through the gloom. "I'm here. I'm going to get you out," Mark declares. Inside the car, Mark wrestles with the jammed seatbelt, his movements frantic and desperate. His hands, numb from the biting cold, fumble uselessly with the unyielding mechanism. Each failed attempt tightens the knot of panic in his chest. Time is slipping away, the urgency etched on his face. Inside the cramped car, Mark battles with the unyielding seatbelt, beads of sweat forming on his brow. His hands tremble as he pulls out a knife, the glint of metal catching the light. A determined look hardens his features as he leans in, ready to take decisive action. "Your seatbelt is jammed. Hold still. I'm going to cut it," Mark says, his voice strained with urgency. The sharp blade slices through the fabric, freeing them from the perilous restraint. Inside the wrecked car, tension spikes as Mark's hand moves with deadly precision. A glint of cold steel flashes as Mark unsheathes a knife, the blade reflecting the dim light. With practiced ease, he slashes through the taut seatbelt, severing the last restraint. He reaches across the cramped space, his grip firm and urgent. Sarah is caught under the arms, a mixture of fear and trust in her wide eyes. Every second counts as Mark pulls her free, racing against unseen forces. An unknown location, the scene set, though the surroundings are not immediately clear. The air is thick with anticipation. Tension hangs heavy, the location's mystery deepening the sense of expectation. A sudden declaration breaks the silence, a promise of action and adventure on the horizon. Mark's voice echoes, full of urgency and excitement. "We're going out now. Hold on tight." On a bright, sunny beach, Mark and David fight against a relentless current. They struggle to pull Sarah from the submerged car, their faces strained with effort. Each step back to shore is a battle against the powerful, surging water. The waves crash around them as they desperately try to reach safety. Exhausted but determined, they fight nature's fury to save Sarah. Under the cloak of night, the exhausted crew fights against the river's relentless pull, their silhouettes stark against the churning water. Muscles strain and ropes groan as they desperately haul Mark, David, and Sarah from the river's dark embrace. The river yields its victims, one by one. Slick with water and shivering from the cold, Mark is pulled onto the muddy bank, his body heavy with exhaustion. David follows, gasping for air as he collapses onto the unforgiving earth. Sarah lands hard, each breath a victory against the river's chilling grasp. In a dimly lit room, Sarah lies pale on a makeshift bed, her face etched with worry. A weak cough racks her body, each breath a struggle as her eyes dart around anxiously. Desperation colors her voice as she whispers, "My son, is my son okay?" Her frail hand reaches out, grasping for reassurance in the oppressive dimness. Amidst smoke and chaos, a firefighter guides a rescued person toward safety. The rescued person stumbles, disoriented, supported by the firefighter's firm grip. The firefighter's silhouette stands out against the hazy backdrop. A beacon of hope. A figure approaches, clad in firefighting gear, offering reassurance. "He's right here. You're safe now," the fire chief says, projecting calm. Paramedics move with practiced efficiency, their movements a flurry of care and urgency. Wrapped snugly in warm blankets, Sarah shivers, her body trembling against the aftermath. Gradually, the violent tremors subside, leaving a fragile calm in their wake. A burst of youthful energy as Tommy rushes towards Sarah, his small figure a beacon of hope. Tommy's embrace is fierce and protective, burying his face in Sarah's side. The world fades away as they cling to each other, finding solace in their shared connection. In an unknown place, Tommy is overcome by raw emotion, tears streaming freely down his face. A portrait of pure relief. His voice cracks with disbelief and overwhelming joy. "Mom, you're okay!" he exclaims, his voice thick with emotion, the words barely a whisper. A surge of elation washes over him as he confirms the impossible. "You're alive!" Tommy cries out, a beacon of hope shining in his tear-filled eyes. In the dim light, Sarah kneels, pulling Tommy into a fierce embrace, her eyes reflecting a fierce protectiveness. Her voice, soft yet resolute, cuts through the silence. A promise whispered only for him. "I'm okay, honey. I'm here," she murmurs, her embrace a refuge from the terror they faced. Gratitude flickers in her eyes as she acknowledges unseen saviors. Thanks to them, inside an unknown location, Tommy gazes at Mark and David, his young face etched with deep gratitude. Tears well in his eyes as the weight of their action sinks in. His voice thick with emotion, Tommy whispers, "You saved my mom." "Thank you." Overwhelmed, he repeats softly, "Thank you so much." A heartfelt promise in his trembling voice. Mark kneels, meeting Tommy's gaze directly, a silent understanding passing between them in the stark light. A shared moment of vulnerability as Mark lowers himself to Tommy's level, creating a bond. "We're just glad we could help," Mark says softly, his words carrying a weight of empathy. Mark's expression is gentle as he addresses Tommy, the weight of the situation evident in his eyes. "Your mom is very brave," Mark adds, his voice filled with admiration and respect. Tommy listens intently, absorbing Mark's words, his young face reflecting a mix of emotions. Amidst the bustling street, paramedics carefully lift Sarah onto a stretcher, their movements precise and urgent. Tommy stays close, his grip tight on Sarah's hand, a silent promise of support in his touch. The paramedics gently maneuver the stretcher, preparing to load Sarah into the waiting ambulance. Tommy's face reflects a mix of fear and fierce protectiveness as he watches over Sarah. The ambulance doors stand open, ready to receive Sarah and transport her to safety. A sense of urgency fills the air as they secure Sarah inside the scene, a tableau of care and crisis. Bright lights illuminate the ambulance's interior, a stark contrast to the dark night outside. Sarah lies on the gurney, her face partially hidden by an oxygen mask. Tommy sits beside her, his face etched with shock and relief. Paramedics move with practiced efficiency, their faces focused as they monitor vital signs. The ambulance is a haven of warmth and order amidst the chaos of the night. In the dim light, Sarah gazes at Tommy, tears welling in her eyes, reflecting a mix of love and fear. Her voice cracks with emotion, a raw confession trembling on her lips. "I love you so much, honey," Sarah whispers, her voice thick with unshed tears. Her heart aches as she admits her deepest fear, a vulnerable truth laid bare before Tommy. "I was so scared," she confesses, the weight of her past emotions flooding the space between them. Sunlight floods the sterile hospital room, casting a warm glow on the pale walls. Tommy watches, relief washing over him as his mother's eyes flutter open, a faint smile appearing. He gently grasps her fragile hand, his heart swelling with emotion, a silent promise passing between them. I love you too, Mom. I thought I was going to lose you, Tommy says, his voice thick with unshed tears. Ambulance doors slam. Strobing lights cut through rain. The storm symphony masks the family's quiet relief inside. Silhouetted firefighters stand against the rising river, exhaustion etched on their faces as the storm rages on. The relentless rain mirrors the depth of their profound relief amidst the chaos. Thunder echoes, a final, fierce salute to the night's ordeal by the riverbank. In the unknown location, tension fills the air as the scene unfolds. David, his face etched with weariness, stands resolute beside Mark. The weight of their mission hangs heavy between them. David turns to Mark, a searching look in his eyes. Another day, another rescue. You ever get used to this? David asks. Mark meets David's gaze, the question hanging in the heavy air. In a stark room, Mark stands unyielding, his resolve cutting through the ambiguity. His eyes, pools of conviction, reflect a refusal to surrender. Mark's voice resonates with unwavering determination. Never, Mark declares, his gaze hardening. A flicker of purpose ignites in his eyes, a beacon in the desolate space. But that's why we do it, right? To make a difference, he affirms, his spirit unbroken. Inside the bustling fire station, a sense of camaraderie fills the air as sunlight streams through the large windows. The fire chief, a seasoned veteran, approaches Mark with a solemn expression. His hand makes firm contact with Mark's shoulder, a gesture imbued with unspoken gratitude. A silent acknowledgement passes between them, a shared understanding forged in the heat of duty. Mark meets the chief's gaze, his own eyes reflecting a blend of humility and pride. The weight of responsibility and respect settles between them in the vibrant heart of the fire station. Inside the fire station, sweat-streaked faces tell the tale of the night, soot painting their uniforms with valor. Firefighters gather, their exhaustion palpable. Yet a quiet satisfaction settles in the smoky air. The scent of smoke hangs heavy, a stark reminder of the inferno they faced, now mingled with the relief of survival. The fire chief surveys his crew, his gaze sweeping over the weary heroes. Good work, men, the fire chief says, his voice resonating with pride. You saved a life tonight. The river rises, its dark waters mirroring the urgent, flashing lights of the emergency vehicles. An ominous reflection dances on the water's surface, hinting at unseen depths and hidden dangers. Each ripple carries a silent story, a haunting echo of the unfolding drama by the riverbank. The night air grows heavy with anticipation as the river continues its relentless surge. The scene is set for a fateful encounter, where the river's current dictates the flow of destiny. The river rages, a dark mirror to the stormy sky, each wave a threat. Trees thrash wildly as the river surges, inching closer to the settlements. The river overflows, a dark flood threatening to consume all. Narrator, VO. That night, the river rose, threatening to engulf everything in its path. A voice echoes in the darkness, filled with a sense of both nostalgia and inspiration. The narrator's words resonate deeply, painting a vivid picture of past events. But so did hope, the narrator says, their voice filled with emotion. Fueled by the courage and selflessness of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Dawn breaks over the town, painting the sky gold as an unsettling calm settles after the storm. The river now still reveals debris scattered across the landscape, a stark reminder of the recent chaos. First light illuminates the ravaged town, exposing the extent of the storm's wrath. A fragile peace tentatively fills the air, a delicate promise of renewal amidst devastation.